Then you get in, and I feel like the beginning, it's always smooth. We broke ground. We're excited. We see some footers. You got one or two things pop up. You got plenty of time. You've almost drawn no money out of the bank, right? There's no stress, no pressure. Then you get towards the end, and that's where you're down at like the 1 inch level, right? You got finished work, you got landscaping, you've got timelines, you've got plane tickets to buy to set everything up. You've got furniture coming in that you don't know where to put it. You've got change orders that delayed the whole project that you weren't told about, those kind of things. You've also maxed out your draw at this point. So like you're paying the most that you're going to pay on that mortgage and interest only until it's done. Right. And then you see the deadline just like start to like get closer and closer and closer. And you're like, I don't know how we're going to do this. Right? I don't know how we're going to make it. And that's where you start to get so deep into it that you're like, why did I do this? I could have just bought a house and been live a year ago. Like, this is stupid,
Alrighty, welcome back to another edition of the Hideaway Show Behind the Curtain. I'm with Mr. Red River Gorge himself. He's a first-time dad, longtime skydiver, horseback riding, IPA drinking, real estate investor, and land developer from the middle of nowhere, Kentucky, also known as Louisville. I'm joined today with the one, the only, John Michael Sebastian. Mike, how's it going?
It's good, man. How you doing? What an intro.
You see, for everyone that's listening last week, I was just like, man, I feel like I let him down with just like the little like, hey, Mike, that just wasn't enough. So I had to go back to what I'm good at. And I'm like, I'm going to draw. There's so much to pull from with you, right? You got 1.5 million stories. You've jumped out of a plane. I don't know. I thought you said like 800 times.
Yep. Seven. But yes.
Okay. Sorry. Who's counting, right?
Yeah.
You do the horseback riding. I should have thrown Jersey Mike's in there. I should have thrown the bartending thing in there.
Dude, I might go get some Jersey Mike's after this. I was actually talking to somebody the other day specifically about like, how did you get into this? It's the BP guy that I did a podcast with. He was asking about like how you got into this. And I was telling him like, well, I used to bartend, and then I got into real estate and all this. And he's like, a fellow bartender myself here. He's like, it's amazing how it translates. And I was like, check it out. Like, there's something there. There's something there. So for all you bartenders out there that are wondering what you're going to do after that, like, real estate's the path to go. So,
honestly, when I think about bartending and how it correlates to even just being a small business owner or real estate, it's the human interaction piece. Mm-hmm. It's the talking, how to communicate with people, and you're providing. Even if it is at a dive bar or like a college bar, even, I don't know, maybe you were at a top tier bar.
Nope.
Okay. But it's like, you're still providing some sort of level of customer service by providing them a drink and interacting them through conversation. You could be the bartender that just slides a drink cost counter, but I know you and your diabolical ways. You were working those conversations left, right, and center.
It's funny you say like slide across the counter, because like that's one of the things that I learned there. And to me, it's all the emotional intelligence, right? How are you going to like read somebody and be able to make a decision about what's going to make you money, what's going to make the bar money, like instantaneously in the moment? But a lot of it was, how do you present this, right? If I pass this to you and I say like, hey, try this drink, let me know what you think. It's the first time I've made it. I'm not quite sure if it's good. Like 50-50 if they're going to say like, oh, it's okay, or no, it's not, right? Whereas if I like aggressively slide that across to you, it spills a little and it hits the end of the counter, and I'm like, there it is, it's $12, right? You're not going to push back on that. You're like, oh, see, like this guy knows what's up, so whatever. But that right there is like one of the things that I tell people all the time. Like, you learn that like confidence level even when you have no idea like what you're actually doing. So
right. When you're interacting with people what time would you start if you can go back?
We got in at 4
bartending, Mike.
Yeah, 4 p.m.
Yep. Until 2 a.m.
The bar closed at 2 a.m. and then we stayed until about 4 a.m.
So you were 4 to 4.
Yep.
Dang.
Yep.
That's crazy.
I did that and worked a 9 to 5 at the same time. So I'd get home at 4:30, and then I would sleep until about 6:30. I'd go to the gym, and then I'd be back at work by 8.
Dang, dude. Yeah. You were just going.
It was not
hustling, man.
Yep.
But you think about it, like with the bartending gig, you're interacting with every sort of person, male, female.
Yep.
Just starting the night sober, blackout intoxicated. Like, I mean, you got every form of person that you're interacting with there, and it probably forces you to know how to handle certain situations and how to handle certain people. So you're not the first person that said that, though, that bartending has like translated into how to talk to people.
So many benefits. It's good for targeting people. The thing that I like about it is you have, I'll say unlimited in air quotes, right? But you have a very strong supply of people all standing in front of you. Hundreds, if not thousands of people that will come through the bar over the course of a month, right? So you can try it again, try it again, try it again, try it again. The other thing though is you get instant feedback, right? So if we put something in our listing descriptions, it's going to take a month to measure and see if people are like, actually, if bartending, it's like, do you like this? You look at their face and you're like, no, you do not. Like whatever it was that I did, said, acted, whatever, like, it's like, obviously you did not like it right there. So like there's the instantaneous feedback and then 50 more people to try it on right after that, you know? So you really like fine tune stuff really quickly, which is fun. I miss it. It was fun.
I think maybe I was telling you, I was thinking through podcast topics this morning. I think that could be one that really we could deep dive into one day. It's like bartending and short-term rentals, how the two go together. Like I think it would get people's attention, but two, really break that down even further to that's done for you. I think you could speak to it more than me. I was the person on the other side of the bar. I was never the bartender, but I've heard many stories from you. So that's going to be a topic for another day. But we got something different we're talking through today, and I think it's top of mind with us for what we've been doing lately. We have multiple projects. Last week we talked a little bit about, building versus buying an older short-term rental. What I want to kind of get into today is we've been through a lot through the building process. Let's break down the good, let's break down the bad and the ugly of building as opposed to buying a short-term rental. I think buying a short-term rental is easy. I mean, you run the numbers. Sure, you run the risk of buying a bad deal. I'm guilty of that. I bought my first one that wasn't a good deal. I didn't know how to actually run the numbers. I was just guessing at that point. Closing my eyes and put numbers in a spreadsheet. Versus building's a whole new ball game. There's terminology differences. Sure, you have a lot more flexibility and control in what you can and can't do.
It's almost like to your detriment. You have too much.
Yeah, and you've been through a little bit more than I have with the silo projects. You started those off. I mean, tell us a little bit about how those all started. Like the good that's, let's break down the good, right? Yeah. With those, and then we can kind of talk a little bit about the good that we've experienced with Noah's Cabin as well.
Yeah, absolutely. The good to me is like the number of options that you have. I put that in both categories, more so on the good side, but you can come up with the entire idea, the entire vision and control it start to finish. So if you've been doing this for a while, like anybody that's had more than 2 short-term rentals and been in this for more than 2 years has something about their houses that they wish they wish that were different. Right. And even these, like the moment they launch, they'll be like, I wish I would have done that. That being said, like you learn more and more and more the further you get into this. So being able to build from the ground up, it's like putting, certain rooms in there that you need for either storage areas or networking rooms, those kind of things, so that it is set up with the shelving, with the plugs, like all that kind of stuff to make sure that you have everything there the day that you start. Like that's one thing. The customizability of the structure, right? Really knowing that I want this to, be angled this way and positioned this direction, like all this kind of stuff so that you can make it fit your vision, right? Versus somebody else that like building the house and then you going in there and trying to tweak it. I think that to me is the biggest stuff. Like it's all custom to you and to your specific way of using it, which changes from person to person. So.
Right. And you're buying short-term rentals, you tend to compromise on things. Or if you don't compromise and you want something, it's an addition onto that. And you start to think through funding. I mean, is funding a perk as well of building where, obviously you got to get the construction loan for a certain amount and find, a way to fund that. But it does give you, assuming it's within budget, that you can do a little bit more of these things up front versus a year down the road where it's like, well, I want to add a deck and a hot tub. I'll just use an example. Or if I want to add a sauna, right? You can add it later, but then you're kind of in a position of like, okay, where's the cash going to come from? Am I going to pull a 0% interest card? Am I going to ask someone for more money? Do I have enough money in the bank left over from cash flow? Versus when you're building, you can build that into the loan. And then it doesn't feel as daunting of a task, right? It's like, okay, well, we're going to put a sauna here, put a hot tub here, we're going to put this here, we're going to put that there, good to go.
I think a lot of it is like, what do you have out there, right? Because it gets expensive. You want to build a deck, you want to add a hot tub, you want to add a sauna, you want to do a bunch of big landscaping projects, all that kind of stuff. It's like you have to find the team to do it, get a bunch of quotes, have them drive out there 3 or 4 times, get an excavator on site, get all the stuff shipped in, like that kind of thing. Whereas if you're building a house, like they're going to go to the quarry 25 times and get rocks and stone and all that kind of stuff while they're out there. they could throw more on there for your landscaping project, right? So there's really no additional cost of the travel, the delivery, anything like that. You've already got all the heavy equipment out there. You've already got like carpenters and professionals, electricians and things like that. So you're really saving on the number of trips, the special equipment that goes out there by just laying it out there. You're still going to pay the electrician for the flow. You're still going to pay for the wire, that kind of stuff.
Right.
But like everything else just disappears. And it's amazing how much of those quotes is the quoting process, the delivery process, the shipping and the driving and all that kind of stuff. So it gets significantly more affordable when you've got everything out there already.
Right.
So,
and that's where proactively planning and having those conversations up front helps versus, getting halfway through the build process, like, oh, we wanted to actually add this in this room, or we want to add I think adding outdoor amenities, that's not as big of a lift, but if you're so far down the road and you didn't proactively plan for something like, oh shoot, I want to add that in. I think, again, it still can be done, but a lot of times what those builders dislike tremendously and that can start to really eat into your budget are change orders.
Yep.
Any, if you didn't proactively think through things up front, even down to the like how high where the outlet's going to be, how high are the switches going to be, how high are the light fixtures going to be, like things like that. You don't realize that you have to start thinking through when you're building a house. And it's like when people, I always hear people walking through a house, or I sent you that video, that $139 million mansion in LA. He's like the attention to detail is flawless. And that $139 million property is at a completely different level. Yeah. But it's that phrase right there, the attention to detail.
Yep.
If you have the attention to detail during that build process, you can absolutely take your imagination and your idea of the property you want to build and turn it into a reality.
Yeah.
Where it becomes challenging is when you're like, oh, I don't know where the light fixture goes. Just have the contractor figure it out. Well, then at that point, you're at the mercy of whatever they think. That could be, way too high. That could be way too low. That could be right next to the wall where the light fixture's too wide and it won't. It's just little details down to that level that you need to think through.
Yep. It is the most, like, I used to say that all the time. I was like, you guys know how to do this. Like, just do it the way, the routine, whatever the normal way is. And dude, it is exhausting, like how much that doesn't work. And it's like, you have to absolutely control like every single decision. Like I can live on site and still not have enough time out there to answer all the questions that need to happen. So
yeah, I think too, you need to set your own expectations that it's not going to be perfect. Even if you are on site, like you're saying, and you're making sure, they put the plug in the right spot or the right side, or like all these different little things, or they lay the tile vertically versus horizontally, right? Even the things are going to get missed. That's just the nature of the beast. I talk to my wife, Allie, about that all the time because she's a designer for a custom home builder here in Iowa. And I tell her that. I was like, oh, this thing's going to be flawless. She's like, I hate to burst your bubble, but there's going to be something that happens that you just simply could not plan for, you could not control, and it's just the nature of building a house because you're relying on there's a lot of hands, in the pot between the GC, the subs, their team, all these different pieces. There's a lot of people going in and out of the houses and doing different things that sometimes even if you draw it out for them, tell them vertical tile, and they look at it, they still have to be able to take that and put it into action. And sometimes they may just gloss over it and put it horizontal for whatever reason. Yep. And that's just the nature of it.
Yep. It is. I agree. Like you learn how communication, even two people speaking English, right? You've got your perspective. I've got my perspective. And I'll tell you what, man, like I've had some conversations where you're talking about like horizontal versus vertical tile, right? You talk about it 15 times to 3 different people there, and you are, you say it this direction, you say it from this angle, you say it from this angle, and you're like, do you get it? Right? And they're like, yes. And it's like, all right, tell me what I just told you. Right? And they tell you the opposite. And I'm like, how? Like how? Like where are we coming from? And most of the time, like I can figure out what they were hearing. And if I can figure out what they were hearing, then I can go back and I can be like, okay, I see that. This is what I was actually talking about. But what I've realized is like photos are the best thing ever. Here's the bathroom. This is what it should look like. Think everything for AI. Like the models and the rendering that you can do with AI now, it's like you can literally just say like, oh, draw me a bathroom with like this tile that's vertically oriented, right? AI will get it, print a photo, I can give it to the person who's putting that in. But it's just time consuming to do all of that and have it out there and those kind of things. It's exhausting. So
yeah. I think one of the other perks of building too is you build and this is more so for you or anyone that's on site at the project. You start to build a lot of relationships with people out there. You know, it could be the tile guy, could be the trim carpenter, could be the framer. You know, you start to build those relationships where then you have those resources in your back pocket if or when you ever need them. And it becomes
even more than that is you build a relationship with the one that you don't want in your back pocket, and you put a little note in your contact there that says never hire this person, you know?
Exactly.
But
I mean, it's like I said, it's not all, sunshine and rainbows. There is challenges from the bad. Timeout. Is the man okay? Is your co-host okay?
Dude, I don't know what's going on out there. He's going through a phase right now. I'm surprised it picks it up that much. Like I can barely hear it.
More than likely,
yeah.
We'll keep this in, but more than likely they won't be able to hear it with the studio sound. But I just feel bad for the little man. Like, it's like, do we need to bring on a special guest?
Yeah. Bring him in here and let him run this thing. I don't know what's going on out there. He's in this phase right now where when you change his diaper, it is not good. Not good.
Is he doing the alligator roll yet?
He's rolling and he's doing a back bend, dude, where he will literally put his head up and just belly up in the air and slam his body down. Like, whoa, dude.
Doesn't seem comfortable.
Nope. But
okay. Anyways, Adrian's good. We're good on that front.
Yeah.
But so what I was saying though is it's not all sunshine and rainbows. There is the bad. There's definitely the ugly where it's like just things that you start to question yourself and be like, man, it's like, was building the right direction? I think maybe you think that initially, but then you quickly mindset shift. It's like, no, like this is, I will take the good or the bad and the ugly with all the good that's going to come from this down the road.
To me, it's the same thing as like the marketing industry where like when we would have a campaign, right? So we would start and we'd say, I've got $100,000 and I need to spend it on ads so that I can make $1 million. And we're going from here and we need to like get all this stuff done and get this many customers. Right. So it's very high level. You can see, clients here, needs to go there. This is what we need to do. Then you start getting into the nitty gritty. You build your strategies, you build your like copy and your hooks and the images and all that kind of stuff. And it's like deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper. And then you're like, you're a week in, you're like, should we use an emoji or no emoji? Right. And that's like the 2-inch level, right? You got a magnifying glass on that copy at that point. And it's like, wow, like where are we at? I feel like it's the exact same thing with the build process where we're, in the beginning, we're like, oh my gosh, this is, a phenomenal idea. We're going to do all this stuff. It's going to be great. We get this high level vision. Then you get in and I feel like the beginning, it's always smooth. We broke ground. We're excited. We see some footers. You got one or two things pop up. You got plenty of time. You've almost drawn no money out of the bank, right? There's no stress, no pressure. Then you get towards the end and that's where you're down at like the 1-inch level, right? You got finished work, you got landscaping, you've got timelines, you've got plane tickets to buy to set everything up. You've got furniture coming in that you don't know where to put it. You've got change orders that delayed the whole project that you weren't told about, those kind of things. You've also maxed out your draw at this point. So like you're paying the most that you're going to pay on that mortgage and interest only until it's done. Right. And then you see the deadline just like start to like get closer and closer and closer. And you're like, I don't know how we're going to do this. Right? I don't know how we're going to make it. And that's where you start to get so deep into it that you're like, why did I do this? I could have just bought a house and been live a year ago. Like, this is stupid, and you have to remind yourself, like, wait a second. It's kind of like looking at where you've come, right? You never feel like you've done enough until you look back in your camera roll and you're like, wow, I really lived a life there, and it's the same thing. Like you look back and you're like, okay, this place is going to be phenomenal. Right. And it's exactly what I wanted it to be. And all this, it's like, we just got to power through that last, month and a half, whatever it is there. But
And it's all those little details, like on things, if it's slightly off that you're like, okay, like it's not the end of the world. But the thing is like, you're more than likely going to be the only person that notices it. The guest that's staying there isn't going to notice it. Now, does that mean we want to cut corners and not deliver the standard that we're expecting? Absolutely not. But the little, I don't know what it may be. I always notice it on Cooper Pines because Cooper Pines was kind of a hybrid. We came in halfway through the build process and were able to make some decisions and do some of the finish work. But the problem is we weren't able to dive in from the start. And there's just some small things that I see that I'm just like, every time I go in, I'm like, ugh. But then we
Yep.
get glowing guest reviews. Place
Yep.
is immaculate. It is incredible.
Yep.
What an amazing property you have, right? And it's like, I just will always remember the small things. I always,
Yep.
you say this when I go in. I think every time I went into Cooper Pines, because I'm like, I feel like it's falling apart.
Yeah.
It's falling apart. I gotta go see it. I gotta see
Yeah.
it in person. I walk in. I'm just like, okay, the sky's not falling. Everything is okay.
It's the exact same thing though. Where like the feedback that you get, we very rarely hear people come in and say, hey, like, I really like the angle of the A that you did, or I really like the siding that you chose, or the shade of the repainted stain/paint or whatever it is in there, like, I really like that. They say like, beautiful cabin, absolutely love it. But you hear all the details of the negative, right?
Mm-hmm.
So every guest, it's like, oh, there's a crack in the door frame, or there's a glass that's broken, or there's, any a leak or marks from some other person, or someone threw up some, I don't know, whatever it is, right? You hear all that stuff. And what happens is like the tally of positive to negative becomes very imbalanced, right? And then not being out there, it's like, I'm not getting any positive feedback. And I'm hearing, and I do the same thing where I'm like, I'm failing as a host. I'm a horrible homeowner. Why haven't I fixed this yet? And all this. And it's like, and then you start thinking about it and you're like, if I get a bad review, I'm going to get a bunch, and then my listing's going to go down. And then all of a sudden, like it just spirals out of control. And then you walk in and you're like, oh wait, like it was just like a little split in the door frame. It's not that bad,
Yep.
So
yeah.
But,
yeah. And you're going to have that even in the build process as well. And it's going to be some of those small details that, at the end of the day, like, is it going to, increase your revenue one way or the other? No. Now, if you stack a bunch of little small details that were messed up along the way, then that's where you start to run into issues. But, you made a comment on like the siding and the stain color, all those little things. I think doing those the right way and stacking those on top of each other is what allows people to say, what an immaculate cabin. They may not notice the type of siding or the trim, but the fact that you did it in a certain way, that there's a contrasting color that makes it pop, that's what got them to say, wow, what an incredible property. Versus if you picked a, I don't know, let's just be crazy here. You picked a pink siding with a neon green soffit. Like, okay, that's a problem. The guest is going to be like, that's immaculate. They're going to notice that. But if you do it the right way, they're not going to call out those individual items, but done correctly and stacking those all together is where they're going to notice and be like, what an amazing property.
I feel like that's the goal, and that should be the goal of some of the designers. We're like, some pieces should pop for sure, but some pieces, like, they should never notice, but feel elevated or feel like high quality while they're sitting.
Yes.
So
Yep. No, go ahead. I won't cut you off.
Yeah, I was just to say that's the place that we are right now at these silo builds. It's like we're at crunch time. We got till August 1st, right? We get keys August 1st, and it is July 11th when we're recording this. So like it's maxed out. It's like, let's get this thing finished. And I'll tell you what, man, I go down there right now and I'm like, it's messy. They got a lot to clean up, so it is stressful. But
yeah, I think that finish line is the hardest part. But it's once you're done, there's a big weight lifted off your shoulders. Well, I should say there's a big weight lift off your shoulders once it starts like filling up. Once you start seeing the reservations come in, which there's these properties, they're going to come in left, right, and center. Social media, they're going to take off, all that stuff. I'm very confident in that. But
I agree.
Before we switch gears to the Would You Book It segment, the ugly. We've kind of talked about the good, the bad. Like from a building perspective, I'm curious on have you experienced anything that's just like the sky is falling from a build, like I would never do this again? Or have you ran anything like that?
No, I don't think that there's anything in the build process that would dissuade me from it. I would say that there's a whole lot of learning lessons. I'd say every build, at the end of the build, I want to sell it and do another. Right? I don't want to quit building, but I'm like, I could do this better, right? Not just the design and the implementation and all the ideas that I thought of while it was being built, but the process that you go through as well. It's like, I can definitely do this better now. Now I've never done that. I keep all of them and then just build more. So it's
right.
a little bit of a conundrum. But that being said, to me, like going through the process, I think the hardest thing is logistics, time and communication. One of the things when I had the marketing agency like that, I used to tell people is I never want to have money problems. I want to have real problems, right? So if I owe you money, please raise your hand and say, hey, you didn't pay me, or hey, I need to reimburse you for this, whatever it is, right? Money's something that's very easy to solve. The things that are hard to solve are personality conflicts, different beliefs on things, different logistical timelines that have 15 or 16 different inputs and dependencies to wait on each other. Like those kind of things to me are, it's like, oh, wow, this is like a real issue. You know, it's something that's not just like, we can just fix it, just go into the checkbook and write a check kind of thing. So that's where you get really complicated in the build process is you got a lot of logistics, right? And all of the logistics depend on the other, like we're waiting on countertops right now, but we have to get the countertops in by next Wednesday because the plumber's coming Wednesday afternoon to connect everything. And if there's no countertops, he can't connect it. Right. And then he's got to make another trip. So we're talking about trip fees and all that kind of stuff. So there's all these dependencies that go into things like that. Well, they're drilling the well as we speak. Right. But the well has to be connected after the plumber's there. Right. So they're like, all right, well, he comes out at this time and then this comes out at this time. We've got all the furniture coming in and it's like, well, let's put all that in our house, keep it out of there for now. But then some of the fixtures and light things that the electricians are hooking up. So we've made trips out there to bring that stuff. So I will say the logistics is one of the most complex parts. It's also one of the ones that you improve on the most as you go through different builds, because once you finish one, the next build within reason is exactly the same, right? You have, the electrician comes, the plumber comes, the countertop guy comes, the flooring guy comes. But it's not like you're going to put flooring down before you have like the structure of the house finished,
Right.
So
most of the high level things are similar. They may do a few things in a different order, for example, and maybe there's a reason behind, but you're drilling the well right now, right? That was one of the first things we had done at Noah's cabin, and so, and I guess for people that don't know, Noah's cabin's one of our new cabins coming out. That's all we're going to say. It's going to be special. It's going to be unique. It's going to be incredible. So, but that was like the first thing I thought of is like, they're drilling the well, next week. And I'm like, that was like one of the first things we had done. So there are going to be, depending on the builder, the location, the lot, all these, there's a bunch of variables that play into this, that it's not just a, step 1 through, 100, this is how you build a house. Everyone is different. But if you're, consistent, if you're, stick to the process and be willing to adjust as necessary, you can build a property, as daunting as it may seem. You just have to stay the course. And the biggest thing I think is communication. If you can communicate, ask questions, right? When you don't understand something, it's a terrible idea if you're working with a builder and like they explain something to you and they're like, and you're just like, yep, got it. And you go back in your truck or car and you're like, I have no idea what they're saying. I hope they're doing it the right way, right? Yeah. That's a problem because they're going to do something more than likely that you maybe didn't understand. You're like, well, I didn't want it done that way. And they say, well, I explained it to you, right? And you're like, well, I was trying to, I don't know, act like I knew everything when I really didn't. It's okay to be vulnerable and just say, I don't know what that means.
Hey, you're the expert. I've never done this. Like, walk me through it.
Lean into that expertise.
That's a big one. The communication all around is a big one, but that's a huge one. It's just being like, I have no idea what you're talking about. Like if I'm a guest that shows up, or if I'm a toddler that's walking up and you're explaining this to me, like, talk to me that way. What are we looking at here?
Exactly.
So
So with all that being said, are we going to keep building?
Dude, we're gonna build until we're blue in the face, man. It is. I'll say like we should do like a counter argument of like what you have to go through in the renovation if you want a unique build, right? If you just want to build a house and rent it, like you're doing long-term rentals and you don't need to do anything unique and you just want to rent houses, awesome. Like buy a house, that's great. Build a house, doesn't really matter, right? I think it's more like financially incentive driven then, where it's like, can I build it and immediately have equity in it, that kind of thing,
right?
For the stuff that we're doing, like it is. I'll say like even the logistics, the timeline to a lesser extent, but we would run into the exact same issues if we had a house that we purchased and we renovated to be a unique rental, right? We've got grain silos in these things. Imagine taking a big old saw and drilling, a 20-foot circle in the middle of a house and implementing a grain silo. Like it's not going to be an easy process. You're still going to have the logistics, the timeline, the cost, all that kind of stuff. But then you run into the unknowns of what is the existing structure? Who built that? When was it built? What does it have inside? Right. So,
yeah. I'm excited to keep building and I understand and know. We lost Mike. Mike! Hey guys, real quick, just want to jump in here and say, if this show has been sparking ideas and helping you level up your short-term rental game, we would be so grateful if you drop us a 5-star review. It helps us and this show reach even more people who want to build wealth through unique, unforgettable stays, just like you. So thanks for being a listener. Now, back to the show. He's back.
How do you like that?
He's back. He's back. I really hope I could.
Trying to move my screen, and I hit refresh.
Were you panicking there for a second?
So,
It's like, oh no.
Dude, I'll tell you what. When you go through the build process that we've been through, like refreshing your screen in a podcast doesn't make you panic anymore. I was like, well, we might have to start all the way over, but here we are.
I could edit that into we like Mike decided he was hungry for lunch. We'll be right back.
This is not a commercial break. This is for food.
Well, I appreciate you thinking through as we go and edit this. We always need that transition point into the Would You Book It segment. Yeah. So thank you for proactively planning that and doing that drop off there. Yeah. So
it's actually funny because that's what I was moving the screen for. I was like, oh, all my stuff's over here. I need to like adjust here.
Ready. So let's do it. Let's dive into the Would You Book It segment.
All right.
So
all right.
So for any new listeners, the Would You Book It segment, we do it every week. And essentially what it is, Mike and I bring a unique property, a property that has cool design, a cool amenity, a viral amenity, or whatever it may be. We bring it to this call and we break it down from a perspective of would you book it as a guest and would you host it as a real estate investor? And coming into this, we don't know each other's topics. All I know are properties. All I know is Mike has a backlog of killer ones, so I need to step my game up. I feel fairly confident with the one I found today. Some people may have seen this before, others may have not. So with that being said, Mike, I think you went first last week. So I'm gonna dive in and hand up for, I think maybe I dropped the ball last week on mine. I brought a lame school bus.
No.
Yeah, I could have done better. Come on. Yeah, let's call a spade a spade. I could have done a little bit better there. But I did look back on the podcast recording, and that comment I made right after we got off the podcast, I was really hoping it captured it on the recording. Do you remember that?
Oh, I do remember.
I was gonna keep it in the pod, but it wasn't there. So all good
this week.
Yeah.
This week.
Well, I'm gonna redeem myself this week, so I don't need to make that comment. All right, let me get this pulled up here. Sweet. All right. In the spirit of unique properties, and as more people begin to shift towards unique stays and experiences, I want to share Outpost X.
Oh.
Have you seen this before? You haven't seen this? Okay.
Well, no, I've not. A sci-fi glamping experience in Utah.
Yeah, an hour and a half west of Zion, but they really lean into wow. Yeah. It's pretty surreal. They have these domes, tents, campsites. It's almost like they lean into the Star Wars like theme in a way. And I mean, I remember I've seen this guy in the podcast. I can't remember his name, but he found a piece of land and was like, let's just build some crazy properties out there.
Dude, that's the best way to do it though. It's like, so we've got this development going on, right? And oh my gosh, that's sick.
And you can rent those,
dude. Is that what you drive on?
I think you can.
Like those are.
You can rent those,
dude. That's incredible. So check
Isn't that cool?
Out. Oh, dude, that's sick. We need to do that.
That's cool.
That is. Are you doing that? Or is that?
I'm dragging it around, but it gives you the ability to do that, and so you can click on it.
Yeah, and go into the places. That
awesome. Would be cool. Gorge view.
Yeah. So this right here is this is like the number one way to go about this, in my opinion. Right. So we've got this place Dragon Ridge that we're building out there, and it's a bunch of rentals, little neighborhood type thing. And the people that we're selling to are coming out and they're like, well, what would you build? And I was like, you haven't even seen the lot yet. And they're like, well, what does it matter? Right. And they're like, oh, I want this like big deck. And I'm like, that's awesome. Like, I agree. Having a big deck would be awesome, but you haven't seen the lot yet. Right. We need to build it to the land, not build what you want on a piece of land that's available. It's very different. Mm-hmm. So I would venture to say that I would like a place like this. If I came across a piece of property that was worth buying, right? That was just a good deal on a piece of property. We could come up with an idea similar to whatever it is. Doesn't have to be similar to this, but that fits that lock, right? And that's going to do so much better. I think this is executed perfectly. This is amazing.
And he really, I mean, this thing, that is just insane.
Yeah.
I'll get down here further, but like some of the the glamping dome is, they built these trampolines into the, I mean, this is middle of nowhere desert, right? Like, look at that. Isn't that cool?
Yep.
Like,
but just goes to show that, like, if you've got something that people want to stay at, like, it does not matter where you are. The term location is slowly disappearing with the internet.
It really is. And I mean, it comes down to, again, this word right here, experience. One, this is the middle of nowhere in the desert. How in the world are they having this culinary experience out there, right? Do they have an on-site chef or maybe there's something nearby, but like, it's just, again,
I mean, it might be like you have to pre-order that and they bring it in or something, but that's incredible.
Yeah. So they they even have a section for experience add-ons. You want to talk about like you can even just get a day pass, you don't even have to stay, which is a cool concept. I mean, you got the culinary piece, the drinking horn souvenir, like that's.
Dude, we should offer this. Just a random drink out of a horn while you're
be like, why the horn?
Look at that.
Wardrobe rental.
That's incredible.
Yeah. So I want to go back up here. I think this one. I started looking at this and I didn't get into it. Outpost X inhabitants. Park your installation at Outpost X and get a profit share of art pass revenue. I want to feature your art.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool. So they're like putting artwork in there and getting revenue from it. That's awesome.
Isn't that crazy though? Like, again, you're just leaning into an experience is all you're doing with this, right? And people, from what I've heard, like this place, it books out. I'm curious to even know what rates would be on something like this.
Yeah.
I won't take long.
I mean, some of them said starting at 400 or 500, I think it said.
It's not surprising at all. This is August. I mean, look at $298. I mean, that's a tent though. RV site you can just rent, like day pass. I mean, so sold out. I mean, it's again, that's the perfect example of how this is.
Dude, this is cool.
Like it's any other guy. Oh, this one I want to show you. I didn't look into this much. I think this is their like AI assistant. Come on.
Huh. No way.
Enable voice communication. I need microphone and real-time voice. Your conversations are private, secure. Audio is processed real-time and not stored. So you get to talk to Amira.
That's incredible.
And she probably talks to you. She's AI on the back end, but answers all your questions, I would assume.
That's incredible.
That's
incredible. Yeah.
So with all of this amazing information, Mike, as a guest, would you book it?
I'm torn.
I'm torn. Just like, this place is killer.
Yeah. It's the answer is probably yes. I am not a sci-fi person.
Yeah, I'm not either.
Like if the theme were desert and food and cars, 100%. Like I love everything they have. I'm not big into the theme, but that's just me personally. Right. There are people that would obviously like go and book this place all the time. So I think yes, and I would be like this guy, right? I'd have shorts and a t-shirt. I wouldn't get dressed up, But I think it would be a fun weekend no matter what, especially if I have friends that were like sci-fi nerds that wanted to come with me.
Would you?
Yes.
Would I assume you'd probably like me? I would book it as well, but I would only book it if I was in the area. I would not make a special trip across the country to go to a place like this.
Correct.
Because, and what I think is smart too, it's a sci-fi glamping experience. Again, I get the vibe of like Star Wars. There is a huge Star Wars community that people are 100%. Obsessed with 100%. Star Wars, that I think they would eat this up in a heartbeat. So.
Obviously they are. Sold out.
But again, like this just goes to show how experience is. Like, again, these properties are cool and unique, but like if it was just that and really nothing else, no add-ons experience, the trampoline, these cars, them showcasing this property would more than likely just be a bust. It's how they present it, how they promote the experience that you can have there, that people imagine themselves in this little whatever spaceship thing, trying on the outfits, jumping on the trampolines, all that stuff. So, but the better question is from a host perspective. Would you host something like this?
Yes. Yes.
I
Yes.
assumed that was going to be the answer.
100%. Yep. I do not need to enjoy the theme to do something, host something that I think would make some good money. And this is one.
Yeah.
So.
I'd be curious to know. I'll have to look. I think this guy has been on podcast before, but I want to know like what he got the land for. You know, if that was like,
that's my thing. If you can just get a killer deal on land and like build something like this is a whole business, a whole themed out business right there. Like he could take a piece of land that he potentially got for 10K, built all these things, say he's less than 500 grand into it, and he starts making the revenue that it looks like he is. Like he could sell that for, you know, a multiple X multiple.
Oh yeah.
That's like that. A multiple X multiple. A large multiple and get a few $1 million for this place. Like that's incredible.
I think he's a podcast as well.
Check it out, dude. I hope it's just Amira spouting all the complaints she gets.
Dude, yeah. So let me stop sharing here. I'm gonna let you go. But side note, you mentioned Amira and the AI agent. I came across on Instagram last night. People are starting to really, I knew it was coming, but people are really starting to push and promote AI influencers. Where there's now coaches out there showing you how you can create influencers that are AI and it's you. And these people are making like $50,000 a month from an AI
That's insane.
influencer doing the work for them. It's nuts to me. But again, it's
but
again, you got to continue.
I'm gonna go on vacation.
Yeah. I mean, you got to continue to evolve, and that's what I mean. Like with Airbnbs and these properties, is you got to start to adapt and lean into this because the experiences aren't going away. Airbnb is proof that experiences aren't going away. You just need to continue to stay course, and as they continue to evolve, like you have to up your game, which is we're doing the same thing at some of our properties. We're realizing that hey, this property was good. It's not going to be good in the next couple of years if we don't do anything to it. We need to start.
Got to keep up with it.
Cool.
So,
I feel like I did good there.
I will.
I'm excited.
Dude, you killed it. That's cool. I'll show you mine here. So I have a shack in the middle of the ocean.
Side note. I was gonna do one of these today, so I'm glad I picked up something else. I swear to God.
I've got some other ones I could pull if we need to. to do that. But so this place is right here, right? So it is literally a shack in the middle of the ocean. But it's got this underwater.
Mine didn't have that part. Mine was just on top.
Yeah. There.
What?
So it's this. So you stay in this. It's not really a shack. It's a cool place. But you stay in this, and then you have a room. Your bedroom is underwater. So it is pretty wild looking.
That is insane, dude.
Yeah. So I thought that was the coolest shot. Just sit in here and watch, fish, sharks, whatever.
Oh my
mermaids.
God. It almost looks like it illuminates it on the outside.
Yeah. It's cool.
Where is this even at? Pemba Island?
Pemba Island. Yeah, I don't know where that is.
I'm gonna find out.
They've got a bunch, but this is the only one that's the underwater.
Pemba Island it's in the Indian Ocean. Is lying within the Swahili coast. A Tanzania
designed for stillness, built for wonder. I like that.
Crazy.
Yeah. There you go. The Manta Resort. It's pretty cool looking.
That is cool.
Yeah. So what do you think? Would you stay there?
Good weather, good, no hurricanes, no storms rolling through.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I would stay there and experience that. I wouldn't be a reoccurring booker, but I would stay once to experience it. And now how you get out there, that's another question. But I imagine that's
you swim.
I mean, that's one of those experiences once in a lifetime, right? Now, I don't know if I'm going to be swimming a ton around this because I just always see big bodies of water and I'm like, there's a shark's going to come get me. Shark's going to come get me. It knows I'm here. It's coming to get me. But I would stay. I would stay with Allie and I would not bring the kids there because I would be just not able to sleep at all because I'd just be worried about them waking up or going outside or So yes, I would stay there.
What about hosts?
Oh boy. I don't know. I want to say yes, but I just think of the how do you, and maybe it doesn't matter because you just make sure the underground part is super clean. The outdoor stuff is just kind of it's part of the experience, right? You're letting the ocean do the work for you from the top perspective. Even if the top's just literally a hut or a shack, no one really necessarily probably cares. Now, you don't want the floor to be rotten out or anything, but like if it's a little bit rustic looking, you lean into that vibe and say it's the experience underneath. So I would, if the opportunity was presented to me and the numbers worked out, I'd say yes. Yeah, I would say yes.
I'm the opposite on both.
Really?
I'm a no and a no. I think it's awesome. I would do a day pass for sure. I would not get a wink of sleep being underwater. I'm also like, I don't want the blinds open. And even though there's nothing out there, I'm be like, God, this is weird. I'm just looking at stuff. I don't think I'd be able to enjoy it. I would love, there's some, I think in the Maldives or I don't know, some nice tropical place. There are some that are similar to this that have like a open floor where you can jump in, but they're all at the end of a pier and you can like walk back to the land. I'm not a fan of just being stuck out in the middle of the water. So I don't think I could do it.
Well, and look, if you look at the top bar, it says new underwater room. So that wasn't there before.
Yep. And the host perspective thing, I just can't stop thinking about all the water and drainage issues that we have in our cabins in Kentucky. And I'm like, dude, you would have to like build a new one of these every year and just drag it out there and anchor it and like let this one drift away or something. Well, they probably have a bunch of solutions that I'm not aware of. I think it's absolutely stunning. It's such a good idea. It's just not my cup of tea.
There's people doing this in Florida. I've seen 2 or 3 of these. Shelby actually even shot one. It was in, I can't remember where it was, down in Florida, but the interior of it is unbelievable. It's called Stayombi, Stayoombi. But no. Google, search literally Stay OMBI.
OMBI.
We gotta be careful with these Google searches. We don't know what's gonna pop up.
I know. Oh, this is rad. Whoa, what is this? Yeah.
It's down below, floating bungalows.
That is down below. Clicking too fast.
Down below, bottom of the screen. There you go.
Yeah.
But like, so this one is cool, but the interior is high quality, right? Like versus the other one is very much a shack. This is
see, I might do something like
that's
this.
what I was thinking.
If it's closer to the land, it's all on top, that kind of thing. Like I might be willing to do that.
And the other one, the shot may just really present like you're in the middle of nowhere when if you turn the camera around, like land's right there.
Yeah. I've seen those before. I'm like, oh, that's not what I expected.
Yeah, but Stayombi was the one I was actually going to pull up. So at least got to show the one I was thinking.
One day. Yeah. One day we'll have to go out and test these places out.
Well, a lot of people are starting to lean into that though with these water properties. I've even seen some people like, I don't know, it's like Texas or somewhere where they are building houseboats and docking them. And
that's Dustin just posted about that. There's a whole it's like float home or something.
Yeah.
There's a whole like Airbnb site built around specifically around
supposedly you're like, because it's on land or whatever, you're excluded from some of the STR regulations and taxes. It's crazy that someone found that loophole and they're like, well, I'm gonna leverage that. I'm gonna take advantage of that and maximize the opportunity. Smart for them. Cool. Well, we got a lot of stuff to do, so that's let's wrap it up here. Another amazing episode of the Hideaway Show, Behind the Curtain edition. I'm Jordan Holmes. He's John Michael Sebastian. Until next time, take care, everyone.